This video is all about the DJI OSMO Pocket and some of the flaws I see with this camera. So yesterday I got a chance to hang out with some of my buddies, Armando from Mondo Bytes and Dave from Kinotika, and we went out and played with the DJI OSMO Pocket. I do want to mention that I'm doing a giveaway with Armando and Kinotika for a DJI OSMO Pocket. So all the details are down below in the description. You guys could go check that out. Now this camera is pretty awesome, and I'm not just here bashing on this camera. There are some flaws after working with this, but you gotta remember, this camera is pretty incredible for its size and what it can produce. It can do 4K 60 and it fits in the palm of your hand. And on top of that, it's super smooth and it has some really awesome functionality. This is a pretty revolutionary camera, and it's something personally that I have been interested in for a while. As drones get smaller and smaller, I've always said, why don't you just take that camera and put it on a gimbal? And that's pretty much what they did. So they took like a Mavic Air camera and put it on a gimbal that's like this big. It's incredible. However, you gotta remember that this is version 1 of this camera, so there's definitely some flaws with it, and I think that there's definitely some ways that it can improve. Now, one more thing to keep in mind, yesterday I was playing with a pre-production model. There will be some firmware updates. They will update this camera from here, and this is what I noticed working with this camera. So the first thing is the smoothness. Yes, there's the gimbal on it, which makes it smooth, and that's the whole point of having a pocket gimbal. However, it also looks like there's electronic stabilization going on. Now, I noticed this style of stabilization happening when I'm working with my Insta360 ONE X. You kind of get this wobble effect with my body because the camera is trying to compensate for the horizon shifting and all the elements in the video to keep them perfectly stable. But what happens is when you have a person foregrounded, you get like this wobble and shake effect that happens with the person. Now, when I've been working with the OSMO Pocket, you actually notice this, especially when you're vlogging. Your body will start to shift back and forth, and it kind of has this weird like mechanical, electronic look to it. This is one thing that bothers me about it and something I noticed right away because this camera is geared towards vloggers. Like, this is meant for vloggers. It has a forward-facing screen. The microphone is forward-facing so that when you hold it out in front of you, you always could see yourself and have a shot of yourself. And with that screen, it makes it really easy to just pop it out of your pocket and shoot some footage. So it's geared towards people shooting themselves. However, you have this weird electronic stabilization going on, which causes like a shutter effect and then your body kind of wobbles back and forth. Now also, when you look at this footage, you'll notice that I'm out of focus. And this is something that happened over and over as we've been playing with this camera. It seems to be that it just has an issue with focus sometimes, depending on what kind of contrast is in the scene and if it can track your face or not. So this camera will automatically track your face, which is a great feature. However, as you can see, this doesn't always work, and it sometimes just focuses on the background, which is a major flaw because you're out of focus and it's obviously really hard to see on this little screen if you're in focus or not. Now, like I was saying, this camera is geared towards vloggers and content creators because of the forward-facing screen and how all the controls are laid out. The issue is the microphone port is on the bottom of the device. Now, what that means is that your microphone, when they come out with the attachment, is gonna be sitting below the actual product. But as content creators and vloggers, we don't always just hold a camera out. Sometimes we want to set a camera down on a tripod and then shoot whatever's going on. This camera has awesome tracking abilities, so you could set the camera down and move around and it will track you everywhere you go. So the design of having the microphone port on the bottom is a major flaw because now you're gonna have to deal with the microphone being on the bottom and you're gonna have this extra long cord hanging out and this dongle, and it just doesn't make sense. Put the microphone port somewhere else and make an attachment that makes it really easy to add on a microphone, even if it's like a hook that goes onto the top above the gimbal, something that is more geared towards vloggers. So that's one major thing. The audio out of it is not very good, so you need to add an additional audio if you want to get professional sounding sound because it's very like tinny and it just doesn't sound very good straight out of camera. So that's one major flaw that I saw. Now, also looking at the bottom, there is no way to like mount this to a tripod or anything. You're gonna have to buy an additional accessory, and I know there's third-party companies that are probably gonna be making a ton of accessories for this product. There's no way to mount directly to objects, so you have to have an attachment to mount to things. And I think that's deeply flawed. I think there needs to be like a 1/4-20 mount on the bottom so that if you just wanna drop it on a small tripod, you can, because when you set this camera down, it basically has a very small base of support, so any kind of wind or any movement is gonna tip it over. So you definitely need to have some sort of way to mount this so that you can put it on a tripod. So for a camera that's $350, it's in a weird, interesting kind of part of the market. I don't know if this is going to appeal to vloggers or if this is going to appeal to professionals. You can get professional looking footage out of this camera. Now keep in mind it's 100 megabytes a second, so as you start grading the footage, it will start breaking apart. You can shoot 4K 60 in log. If you push it too far, you're gonna get banding, you're gonna start seeing some weird artifacts happening in the footage. However, you can still grade the log footage and get a nice looking shot out of it. And that's where I see this camera really shine. You can get these cool gimbal-like shots from a device that is tiny and fits in the palm of your hand. So you have this ability to get really professional looking footage out of a tiny camera that fits in your pocket. Like I said, this is version 1, so I definitely think that version 1 of any product is gonna have its issues. They have to get it in the hands of lots of users to be able to understand which market really fits this product, and then re-engineer version 2 so that it works for the people that are gonna use this. Should you get the DJI Osmo Pocket? Well, I definitely am, because I still think it's an awesome product that you can get awesome footage and it can always just be sitting in your pocket. Something like this hasn't existed before and it's a really cool tool. For me personally, I definitely could see where I could use this as to just get some awesome smooth footage, potentially get some stock footage shots because I always could have 4K 60 in my pocket. Now, yes, I could use my phone and get, awesome footage as well. However, using a gimbal does give you that extra level of smoothness, and as you could see, you could get like these really buttery smooth shots. It does have its flaws. However, I think that once you learn how to use this camera and learn its limitations, you'll be able to get some really amazing footage and be able to have a camera that's with you everywhere you go all the time and be able to just grab awesome B-roll shots. All right, guys, that is it. Make sure you go down and enter the giveaway for one of these DJI Osmo Pockets. And also make sure you go check out Armando's channel for another review of this gimbal. And Kinotika, they've done some awesome reviews on this gimbal, some really in-depth stuff so you can know everything you need to know about this gimbal if it's something that you're interested in. Guys, if you're new here to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. There's a lot of awesome filmmaking tutorials. I also like to go on adventures and see the world. And guys, if you're looking to have a career as a creator or a filmmaker, I have the creatorfilmschool.com, which is nuts to bolts, everything that you need to know to be a creator or a filmmaker. And guys, I will see you on the next one.